Greetings! Welcome back to Pink Oddbird. Today I'm here with some beautiful Gothic nature books, so let's go ahead and take a look. What do you know? It's back to my favorite theme. So I was asked by a sweet gal to make a book that was similar to the one that I made for my good friend Shayna. That book was what I was calling Gothic by Nature, and obviously I can't completely reproduce a book because of several reasons, but I was able to make her something very nice and awesome, so I would like to share that with you guys. And then while I was at it, I also made 2 Traveler's Notebook versions with the same theme. So let's take a look at this one first, and then we'll take a flip through both of these. Here on the spine, all I did was just ruffle up some lace that I had. And then on the base of this book, it is like burgundy sort of lace. And I just kind of put that down on top of the book cover that I built. And then there's this black, beautiful sort of lacy fabric that's on top. It feels kind of velvety. And then on the front, I have just a Tim Holtz cabinet card. And then this little piece I left so she can take it, you know, it's loose, so she can take it out and replace it with something else if she wants. And then there's just a little bit of eyelash trim below that. And then here it says Found Curiosities. So that's the cover. This is kind of what the side looks like. So let's dive in. So it's 3 signatures, and the book is pretty full, but I did leave space like in between the signatures so that the signatures could kind of fatten up a little bit as she put stuff in them. Starting out here is a little collage pocket. I've used Tim Holtz paper, Grey's Anatomy book pages, and then there's some wallpaper. Actually, this is Tim Holtz wallpaper, and this is a real wallpaper from whenever. And then in the front, all I did was alter one of these little multiplication cards, and I just added the This Book Belongs To right here in the front. So in this little pocket here, just a couple of little Tim Holtz ephemera bits. Of course, we have to have some scary animals, or seemingly scary animals. The little July Edith Holden book page. I guess there's some sharks who aren't scary, but I feel like most are. I made a few collage tags in here, and there are some elements that I did in all of these books that I used tutorials from some of my crafty friends, and I will be sure to link all of those tutorials down in the description box below. So here's the first of the 3 charms there. And then I just made this little piece. I was going to attach it down to the page, but I thought I would leave it for her to decide on her own, but it's just got a couple of tags in there. So here I just made one big lace pocket, but I love this fabric because it had like the roses on it. And then here I just made one of those tags, and then this is one of those little due date note papers that I have. So a little stamping in here, vintage music paper, and then inside is just some scrappy bits. And then I did make these mixed media tags following Priscilla's tutorial, and I did them on watercolor paper, and she did want a little hint of some steampunk elements, so this one is kind of like a steampunk tag. I've added some rust on here using my rust paste, and then there's some little cogs, just little bits, just to make it like a little steampunk tag. So here in this book, I did put one of these really old vintage photos in here, and this one says Palace Railroad photo car, and then it says Antoinette, but there's some very faint writing here that someone did, and it says something like grandpa, but I can't really make out the rest of it. But these photos are super old, and then this one has more writing on the back of it. I think it says Wade Warren, Grandpa's brother, taken after he was married. Center of the first signature, just some really cool digi paper. She did want some space for writing, but she said it's not going to be a lot of writing, so that's why I really kind of went crazy in this book. So here's another tag I used with Priscilla's tutorial. The music paper does have some scribbles on it. Some gardening paper. This little bat piece kind of flips down, and I thought it would be perfect if she wanted to add like a photo here. And then behind it is a tag that I've lined with some book page and then fabric over that. There's one of those Grey's Anatomy bits. Oh, and I like this page here. It's kind of like a sciencey. So this is one of those vintage bingo cards I scanned. I went to a little flea market not long ago and I got a lot of cool ephemera. So this is a real vintage bingo card that I scanned. So that's the end of the first signature. So moving into the next one, there's some of my ephemera, and a piece like that is in all 3 books. And this is some mulberry paper that I got at that same flea market that I went to, and I just turned it into a little envelope so she can hide some things away. This is one of the Grey's Anatomy tags. And then here I have like a little golden sort of like skeleton leaf. It's kind of hard to see if you can see it there maybe. But I thought it was really cool. I just encased it with some of this like plastic stuff that I found at the thrift store, and it's pretty awesome. So here I just fussy cut a little raven, and this is a vintage playing card. Did do some punch detailing, little strip of scrap there, some bats. So behind here is a heart that I have fussy cut, and she can do some writing on the back of that. So here's another one of those little floaty pocket things, and I just put a little tag in there. It's lined with some like velvet fabric and then a little lace pocket. There's they all have one of these skull charms on them. Here's another one of those tags. So envelopes. And Dolly did this tutorial back in September, I want to say, of last year. And this is what she called Junkelope. So I made one of these, and I love the way it turned out, but it's hard to explain everything that's on here, but this is what the front looks like. And then this is the back. And then on the inside of here, I have one of those scanned, vintage scanned letters from the 1800s. So cool. So that's the center of the book. And then in the center, I also have this like really neat button that I had in my stash for a while. And I just thought that would make a really pretty centerpiece. So here is a little index card that I covered with fabric, and then I just put a little eyelet in it, and then this one has a little thing that says beware. So here is the second of those steampunk tags with that rust. It gives it such good texture. Another collage tag, backed on coffee paper. Some more body parts. A wolf there. Here's some stamped and stitched tags. So here I used my little snakeskin fabric. I don't know how well you can see it. And then inside of there, another one of Dolly's tutorials where she made the shaker envelopes. So they each will have one of these, and they're lined with vintage music paper on the inside. And then inside of that one has this little trifold piece. So here I have a vintage catalog card from a bit of birdsong, and then this is a Tasmanian tiger. And she did say that she likes tigers. There's another scan of one of my pieces that I found at the flea. And I like the way that pocket turned out, lined with lace. That's the end of the second signature. So the final signature, and here another little collage tag. I put some of these plants in here because they're more of the, like, you know, kind of like nightshade and things like that. So I definitely wanted to include some of those in. This is another scan of that vintage ephemera that I found, but this one just cracked me up and I had to get it. A fish can swim. Children can swim too. So on this page here, I just used a little bit of washi tape to put this on, but this is a vintage book page. I think it's from like the 20s, and it's got some poems on it, but you have to be really careful because this page is so brittle, like if you bend it, it'll crack. So here is a big tag pocket that I made, and this is one of my little vintage seed packets, and then here's a little Tim Holtz lady. Here's a floating pocket, just some little Tim Holtz paper in there for a tag. And oh, this is Dolly's tutorial also, gessoed on the back. So here I just folded this little page with the bugs on it. And then here I just lined this piece with some coffee stain paper. I like the way it turned out though. So here is a big old book page, and I thought that one was pretty representative of like Gothic nature because, you know, this fox is wildin' right now. Another one of those tags. Here, this is just some tags that I just did some kind of distressing on and made it a Hermelinda tag. And then here's another page from the Edith Holden. I think this was still classified under July. I've torn so many pages out of it, it's hard to tell now. So there's a pocket back here. Scorpion, little skull guy, big piece of lace here. So here is, they all will have one of these, and this is some art that I drew myself. But basically I just drew out a spider and then I drew a Gothic window, and it's my little tag that I made to just have a little piece of my own original Gothic ephemera. And then behind it I wrote down the poem For Now Sleeps the Crimson Petal by Alfred Tennyson. And so that's what this tag is, but I love the way it turned out. So they all got a scanned copy of that. She also likes the mountains, and in my stash I found this real vintage, it's from 1956, postcard, and this was from Arlene's estate. There's the third charm. Some more of that Grey's Anatomy there. So here I just put some little pop prints trickling down. Another little steampunky tag. The Tim Holtz clip. Here's a big pocket, and inside we have the ravens, and then this little Gothic nature lady. Little owl. There's my stamp. And then another one of those collage pockets here in the back. And then here is a wallpaper envelope, and I just made her a little label to put on the front of that. And on the inside, just a little coffee stain tag. And a little sorry silk trim. So that is this book. I hope she loves this. Of course, there's never a time when I don't enjoy doing a Gothic theme, so thank you for asking me to do this. It would only be right for me to create a couple more to give a couple more people a chance to get one, because I'm going to be moving into another theme probably here pretty soon. So let's take a look. All right, here we are, standard size traveler's notebooks, and of course you can use these inside of your notebook or as a standalone, and they're really, really super similar, like almost identical practically. So I'll just go kind of through one and then maybe just flip quickly through the other one so that you can maybe see there's like some different book pages and stuff, but nothing like terribly different. All right, so again, we have that very pretty velvety fabric. Oh, that is one difference. This one, they're the same fabrics, but this one doesn't have the velvet feel. This one does. They're closed with about a yard of sari silk. And on the front, it's this little metal rose. And I've had these in my stash forever, but they were perfect for this. And I just made a little collage in the background. And then behind the paper, behind the fabric here is some book page that I lined the cover with. And again, there are 3 charms. So there are 2 of the 3. And then here's the 3rd with the little skull. So yeah, that's the outside. On the inside pocket, on the inside cover, there's a large pocket. And it has that same trifold piece. And then here it has the little "This Book Belongs To." And in here, a little vintage playing card. There's a big tag here. And then in this pocket, I left the Collage Pocket as a standalone, so if you want, you can put it down somewhere in the book and make it a pocket, or you can just keep it as a tag. And then there's that other piece. This little washi sticker in here, some Edith Holden. Here is the tag and the rust paste and all. There's one of those little Priscilla tags. These are so easy and fun. So here, a collage tag. Some Tim Holtz vellum there. This is the Hermelinda tag. That's Tim Holtz fabric as well. Got from Mrs. Cog. Here's the wallpaper envelope here. And then there's just coffee stained tag inside. It's got the sari silk on there as well. So here, the raven tag, and then there's a vintage photo. I thought that little house was pretty desolate looking. Some fabric here. There is the little index card, and this one says Haunt. There's a piece of ephemera here. And then the book page stationery, or the library card stationery. So these envelopes were made using Ayozie's tutorial, and I love the way these turned out as well. But so this is what it looks like, kind of like I said. I'll link down to all of the tutorials, and then on the inside is a little pocket, and it's got my drawn out ephemera. So that's what that looks like. And then when you flip it over, there's the flap, and then it's got that vintage scanned letter on the inside. And then this coffee stained paper that you see here on the back is also a pocket, and I kind of used some sari silk to make it look like that's just part of the decoration of the envelope, but you can actually pull it out and there's a little tag back there. So it's just a big pocket also. They're so fun to make. Took me a while to make those, but it was so worth it. There's the catalog card, the mulberry envelope. So here's one book page, and this one's talking about, I think this one's talking about Charles Darwin and natural selection a little bit. Some lace tabs there. This piece can actually pull out. Some velvet. There's that Grey's Anatomy. There's the vellum envelope with the vintage music paper in there, and it does have writing on there. So here, another tag. Got this little card guy in there with the Grey's Anatomy. So here, the little gold foil tag, and then there's a piece of this scrapbook paper that I love. Some more fabric. It's the Edith Holden. It's the August page. There's the floating pocket, and they do, I forgot to mention, they do have little tuck spots behind the flowers, and then a tag, and then they're gessoed, so you can write on them. Stamped and stitched. And then this one has a secondary little pocket with a tag, some little paw prints there. There's my stamp. And this one has another book page in the back. It's a vintage book page from, I think, a spring book, but you can see how old it is. It's kind of yellowing, and then has a little bunny in there. So that's this one. And I guess the way we should say to differentiate the two, because they're so similar, is this one, the one that I just showed you, is the one that has the velvet cover. And this one is the one that does not have the velvet feeling cover. But so that's, I guess that's the way I'll differentiate them, because otherwise it'll be pretty hard to do. All right, so flipping through this one quickly. I won't take everything out because it's mostly the same. Some of the pages and stuff are different. This one has the October Edith Holden page, some fabric tabs. There's collage tag with some Tim Holtz on there. Here is the vellum that I used for these is Tim Holtz vellum also. It's a big old flip out. There's the little lion. Here's the index card. This one says Fright, and the library card stationery. There's the tag. here's the envelope. It goes this way. And that's what that looks like. There's my little ephemera that I drew. I love these so much. These are like a thing in their own right. Like, even aside from being in a book, like they're their own like real component, because it takes a while to make them, but they're so fun. There's the little pocket with the tags. The dog that bit people. And so there's the book page, and you can see he's kind of shook. So here's the vintage house for this one. And another book page back here. This one, oh, this one is about dinosaurs. So I thought that was pretty. I mean, dinosaurs were probably pretty savage back in the day. There's the floating pocket. There's that Edith Holden for October catalog card. The 2 bits here. Oh, and actually this one has a pocket on it. There's my stamp. And this one has a book page of a little squirrel. So that's it. I hope you all like these. I really, obviously, had fun making them because, I mean, it's my favorite. So the 2 Traveler's Notebooks will be listed up, and this one is already going to be packed up after this, after I take some pictures, to go to its new home. So that's going to wrap it up for me, for now. Be sure to stay tuned, because you never know what direction this odd flock of ours is heading into. And until next time, toodaloo.